Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Evolution History of ERLC. Last time we took a look at the year of 2018 and as well of the pre-release of the game. But now we're going to be hopping into 2019. Just a little bit of disclaimer, this video is probably going to be pretty long compared to the last one, since last time it was just like a month or two of the actual game and a little bit of the pre-release of the game. But now we're going to go through an entire year of tweets and Discord messages and stuff like that. But anyways, before we start, if you just show any type of support, I would be really greatly appreciated, because these videos kind of do take a little bit of a while to make. But anyways, let's just stop with all this and let's jump right out into January 10th, 2019. This update wasn't really too major. However, I just wanted to mention something that really anyone barely remembers. It's the old GMC Carrera, I believe that's how you say it. I barely even remember this thing. I only remember it when I see a picture of it, and wow, this truck has not been in the game for a long time. Later in the year, this truck would get replaced, but we'll talk about that later. Next, we're going to be jumping into January 14th. This introduced the new XP system that we have now, where if you respond to calls as either police, sheriff, or fire department, you will get XP, and you can use the XP to unlock new vehicles and rank up. And once again, it's the same thing as we have now, so putting out fires, arresting criminals, responding to ATM robberies, stuff like that. And also, the police car was added in this update. I am talking about, obviously, the almighty Crown Vic, bringing the total of police cars to 4, along with the Charger, Explorer, and the Taurus. Also, the FD got the old bumper tanker in this update. The next update would introduce the game's first ever Game Pass. This would be the M249, or, as we now know, the Heavy Weapons Game Pass, which obviously the M249 isn't there anymore. It was replaced by the Sniper and the PPSH. This was the most stereotypical weapon for fail roleplay, for I guess obvious reasons. And the obvious reason being is that it had a 100-round magazine, so you can pretty safely lock a hallway or an alleyway down or something with gunfire. January 25th would introduce some new items that would help police and sheriff teams from being pretty underpowered. The Taser would be added, and especially back then, it was pretty insane, to say the least. Unlike now, where you have to wait a little bit before using it. Before then, you can just take it out and use it right away. There wasn't a 3-second cooldown, and it was just pretty overpowered, I guess. And also, the quick radio was added. Pretty small but useful feature if you didn't want to type simple things into the radio. That can sometimes take a while. But January would end with a pretty major update. Right before we hop into that major update, ERLC would hit a milestone of 1 million visits. For a small game at the time that roughly came out around 3 months ago, that was a pretty big achievement. Alright, for the major update in January, if you watched my last video, I did say that in the fire department update, I believe it was, that they will be adding ambulances soon. Well, here it was. There were a total of 6 new vehicles, 2 being ambulances, a ladder truck for the fire department, police Camaro for the police and sheriff, the Tahoe for the police department, sheriff's office, fire department, and then lastly the Ford F-150 for civilians, police, sheriff, and fire. This update packed a whole load of awesome features, but also had one last data reset. Basically, if you're especially a really old player, you will remember the data resets. Your vehicles, XP, money, all that would sometimes be lost due to the data being reset, obviously. However, this would be the last ever data reset ever, which hands down easily was awesome. Anyway, that's going to be it for January. Jumping into February 8th, the first exotic vehicle was added. Lamborghini Reventon, obviously now it's the Aventador since it was remodeled. And not only that, but there were 3 others as well. The Ford Mustang Shelby GT500, the Paramedic Explorer, and the Chevy Silverado for civilian, police department, and sheriff. The last update for February would be on the 17th, and this update would include another exotic vehicle. This one will be the old Corvette, and now the first and actually only industrial class vehicle, the Chevy Express van. Yeah, there isn't another industrial class vehicle, which is pretty interesting. And also, not only this, but the camera system would be introduced where if you ran a red light or speeding in front of a traffic camera, the camera would flash indicating that you committed a traffic violation. And also, stop sticks were added in case you needed to pop criminals' tires for whatever reason. March 2nd would introduce a quality of improvement update, including 2 vehicles, the Chrysler 300C and the Hummer H3. The ladder truck was also now updated so you can control the ladder. So before then, when it was first added, you couldn't really move the ladder, but it was just the truck. But now you could move the ladder. You could also buy vehicles early with Robux, and the map got a little refresh with its new terrain. Around 2 weeks later, on March 14th, a major update was released, and I remember experiencing the game being update on this day. It was pretty awesome. It was 2 new game passes. The first one was the Slick Top game pass, obviously. Now it's the police customization, so that was kind of changed, but the Slick Top option still there with the customization game pass. And the Classic Cars game pass was also added. I forget what 3 vehicles were first added. I know it was the Pontiac GTO and the Shelby GT500. I forgot what the last one was. In the script thing I'm kind of reading off of, I listed that it might be the Corvette, that old 1950s kind of styled Corvette, but it's not that. That was added later. But I forgot what the other vehicle was. I'm not really sure. If I find it out, I'll just put it in the video by like a little editing thing. And also, there was a new 1-level system, kind of similar to GTA, where you can get up to 5 stars by committing crimes. And that wasn't even it. There were 2 more little features, or maybe 3 I want to talk about. The Nissan Gtr would be added, and you are now able to delay in hospital beds and new paychecks that will pay you more the more you did. But another pretty major update was just only 5 days away, and on March 15th, the game had a 3rd exotic vehicle. This would be the Bugatti Chiron, I think that's how you say it. I'm not sure. But also the first police deliveries were being added. These being an unmarked livery in the game with the new detective pass at the time, and the ghost package, which was like the unmarked package. However, you could still see police, and it was a more stealthy but more visible alternative that was free to everyone if they were the right rank. And also, the infamous stereotypical police FRP vehicle, once again, the Chevy Corvette, was added to the police team. At the end of the month, March would introduce a new tool for the fire department. The jump bag for EMTs who wanted to heal for civilians were added. Even though a relatively small addition, was pretty major, kinda in a way. Since Roblox doesn't, the base Roblox healing system doesn't heal you back all the way to full health. However, this, you could heal anyone to full HP once again. Also, just a little side mention, you could color unmarked vehicles now. Then another milestone on April 15th, URLC would hit 3 million visits, and the game would surpass 100,000 game sales. And then jumping all the way to May 3rd, the detain system would be introduced. Like it is now, the detain system, where you can keep suspects in cuffs, however you're pretty limited. With the suspect's consent, you can now place a suspect in your car, transport them to jail, whatever you wanted to do. Also, this included combat logging, so if you leave during arrest or leave when you're about to be arrested and you're being chased, you'll automatically be put in the jail whenever you join back. And the Chevy Caprice PPV was added to the fleet of law enforcement vehicles. The month of June would be pretty big with updates. First, on the 5th, the game would hit over 5 million visits. And then 2 days later, the house update would be released. Now, the houses in the county weren't useless anymore. Basically, you can rent them like now, and you can go inside of them. You can have the police radio and stuff like that. Basically, same as it now. And the premium housing game pass was added, which you're gonna rent 2-story houses, and they also came with the garage, meaning you can spawn whatever vehicle you had from that garage. You don't need to go to spawn anymore. You can just do it from that house. However, the next update would be probably one of the most requested at the time. It was the SWAT update. I remember when this came out, it was pretty awesome to say the least. Some old footage up on screen now. I think after a day after the update, we were doing like a mini convoy, which was pretty cool for public servers especially. It was just really fun at the time, and then later I wouldn't be home for like a week, so it's pretty cool to end out before I would leave. But also, like the SWAT pass now, once again, there will be uniforms, the new Lenco Bearcat, and some new tools with a helmet on its way, but that wouldn't be until later of the year. And the first RP animations will be added, so you can sit down, lay down, and put your hands up. June 27th, a first version of the pursuit detection, you could say, was added. Obviously, it's been improved a lot more since then, but this was the first kind of version of it, I guess you can say. Basically, like it is now, if you're chasing someone with lights and sirens for long enough, a pop-up would ask if you're in pursuit of the vehicle you're following. If you say yes, the suspect would gain a wanted level if they weren't already. And if you said no, nothing would really happen. And also, vehicle health would be implemented, which meant you kind of had to be more careful while driving, otherwise than your car could catch on fire. And then on August 3rd, Mr. Fergie would tease a pretty major update, and it was very requested as well. Private servers. Now, obviously, they are not like normal Roblox private servers. They were their own kind of system. So instead of going to the game's description and going to the server list and stuff, and it said buy private servers, that actually wasn't there, but it was in the game itself. You had to go in game, and there would be, or you go to the menu, and then there'd be servers list, and you can join a server, buy a server, or whatever. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. And then on the 7th, this update would come out, and back then they were cheaper than they are now. I think back then they were 25 Robux instead of the 50 they are now, I believe. I could be wrong. Since it was their own system, there was no real monthly fee, kind of. You needed to at least sign in once per month to keep the private server, otherwise it would be deleted. So it was a pretty generous way of keeping a private server. You didn't have to pay multiple times. All you had to do is pay once, and then you would just at least need to join it at least once a month. And then also, in September, on the 7th, the game would hit 10 million total visits. And jumping into October, on the 19th, there would be a new type of fire, brush fires. Instead of only buildings catching on fire, now trees, bushes, and the barn could now catch on fire. There also, the police and sheriff sirens were redone to the ones we have now, I believe. Since the old ones were kind of just meh. And they both sounded the same, so at least they were good that they had two distinct different ones. October 24th would have the first ever Halloween update. This would have police and civilian quests to do, trick-or-treating, a fall map, and a vehicle remodel. The police quest, at the time, I believe, gave 2 liveries for free if you did the quest to the respective teams, police and sheriff. The police one was like the one that there was already. However, I think there were like little green slime markings or something like that on them. But the sheriff one was completely done or redone. Basically, the color instead of green and yellow was black and yellow. Now, I kind of still do like the green and yellow a little bit more, but back then, everyone, I feel like, really liked the black and yellow liveries, so obviously, they were changed from green and yellow to black and yellow, which is pretty cool. Then jumping into November 2nd, the 1-year anniversary game, or the 1-year anniversary update came out. You know, only 1 year ERLC had gained over 13 million visits. That alone was a really awesome achievement. Obviously, the Halloween update would be removed, and this is the update where the police, or where the sheriff cars were changed to black and yellow. Later that month, this wasn't really a update, but it was a mistake. But ERLC got deleted for a little bit from Roblox for some unknown reason, I believe. I don't really know why. I don't really think anyone really knows why. The devs probably don't even know. Well, they know now it was a mistake, but I don't know if they knew what it was before Roblox said it was a mistake. Obviously, the game would be back up soon. And then we're going to be ending out the year with a very major update. By a Twitter post by Mr. Fergie, the DOT team was teased. The first new team, I guess. Yeah, the first new team. And this update teaser was pretty cool. First, there were 2 new vehicles. Showed an F-150 aeroboard truck. Now it's the F-250. And the new Mustang, which was in there, right in front of the F-150. And the DOT building would be off to the right. And then 2 weeks later, it would release in late December, and it wasn't just the DOT team. There were also other things. There were ELS keybinds, FDs, SCBA, civilian tire popping, the new Mustang, and the new Toyota Tacoma will replace the old GMC Seraria, I don't know, I talked about in the early few minutes, I guess, of this vehicle. I even remember back then it was, or like around when the update came out, it was really hard to get onto the DOT team just because everyone would just be on it, and it was pretty crazy, to say the least. But yeah, that's gonna be 2019. This year was pretty amazing, packed whole loads of new content and vehicles and stuff like that. Anyways, once again, sorry for this video for being longer than the other one, since it was a full year instead of just a few months. But 2020 would just be days away, and also would include lots of new content as well. The 2020 Explorer would be added for police, and the first ever map update would be added. And there's just a lot more, but we'll talk about that for another video. Anyways, that's gonna be it. Once again, lots of research went into this. Around a year of Discord messages and Twitter posts and stuff like that. So if you can support, so if you could show any type of support, whether it would be liking or something like that, leaving a nice comment, that would be greatly appreciated. Anyways, I will see you all next video. Goodbye.